Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me, no. All you board ghosts, come with me, we're going home.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. We can't see you, can't hear you, and yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of Fiasco, the playset Mana Hotel. Previously, we left it off with myself, Ken, and Jocko playing our characters. I'll start off. I am Freddie Geddy Lee, identical twin to Ken's character.
Yes, and I'm playing the identical twin to Freddy. We are half Japanese co-owners of a motor lodge. My character, Jerry Lee, who got the nickname The General while he spent time in jail because he went into the military. The General is connected to Barry, a mysterious, magical, and miraculous psychic guru, spiritual leader, because they did time together in a Kansas jail. About 3 years they shared a cell together, and now the brothers have invited Barry to live at the lodge.
Right, which Barry happily does. He's got his own room. It's the sweetest setup he's ever had. He just gives these guys some free psychic advice, and generally takes care of the grounds to the best of his ability, which isn't very good. And specifically, Freddy seems to really, ignore how bad Barry is at his job because of all of the sort of psychic help that he gives Freddy.
Yep, definitely leans on that mysticism and
Absolutely.
overlooks a lot of weird, bad stuff.
Yeah.
So within the mix here, we have a photo from 1931 of the All-Asian Mana High School football team, which our father in this tale was part of.
Yep.
We have a general need to get the truth about this cover-up in Mana that we may or may not know much about. And right now, this will kind of lead to where we're at. We were hanging out back, burning stuff in the pool and getting real drunk.
Empty pool.
And decided to go into the tornado shelter, or went into it to get the booze that we got getting drunk upon. And upon further exploration, found a bunch of World War II Japanese weapons and ammunition and some gear and a spider hole further down inside this shelter that my character fell in, broke his leg, Barry
Right.
fell on top of, and now the General is sort of at a loss as to how to get us out.
And the icing on top is that we are trapped in this tornado shelter as the doors have shut by the wind and some things have fallen on them.
And they're
to
sort of
block them.
locked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going into the second act, there are a couple new pieces in play. The tilt, there's a failure, something precious is on fire, and a tragedy, confusion followed by pain. So those are going to come into play as we roll into our next act. We have 6 scenes we're going to play out before the denouement. I'm going to flash forward a little bit. We got me out of the hole eventually. My leg's pretty badly inflamed. We just kind of tied it up, and we had the doc come by to look at it. But I've been taking more tinctures than medicine than I should have. Like things that Barry's been whipping up, I've been downing those.
Right, yeah.
To kind of get
Healing
better.
tonic.
It's a healing tonic. It's whiskey and a little bit of Valium and just sort of
Whatever you've got.
whatever I've
on
got
hand.
in my
Brown bag.
in my pocket.
I probably running a low fever for a while. My leg's pretty swollen and inflamed. We haven't gone back into the hole, and we'll let you guys figure out how we got out of it.
Right.
But I'm out. I'm on crutches, kind of hobbling around and like a little bit loopy.
Cool.
And
we got out of the storm.
we got out of the storm. So
Don't even worry about how.
Yeah,
We're
this
out.
is like-
This is
That's
after.
great.
Yeah.
this is like
We're out.
this is probably like a week or two after.
awesome.
Right? And I'm for the first time kind of going back, like I'm on my legs a little bit and like being the responsible one, going to kind of see what damage we got into.
Right.
The door is off its hinges now and like bent in.
Right.
There are scorch marks and burns all on the inside of the
Awesome.
of the tornado shelter. And the pool, it looks like we threw tires on to try to stop the fire we had started, and those are still burning. So there's these burning tires inside the pool.
Great.
And I look down and there's that broken frame, and the photo is half burned, but I see that thing sticking out that you had noticed before. Mm-hmm. So yeah, how's it gonna go?
I think it goes well for you.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. There's a letter inside
Yes.
in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I can't read it. But there's a map, and the map, I can kind of tell, delineates the Motor Lodge, our Mana Hotel, and kind of where the pool is, and then a whole mass of a maze with demarcations in these little like rooms that could coincide with the tornado shelter and define this web that extends in and around a good part of the grounds here, like a few acres or miles of land that we own behind the hotel
Yep.
that are just peppered with this maze.
Amazing.
Maze. Awesome.
All right.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Cool.
And I can't read a word of
Nope.
Right. Right. I am going to flash us back,
Okay.
way back. The year is 1970. All three of us are just kind of hanging around the motel. It's in better days, so almost all the rooms are full. The pool is very beautiful and clean. It's still shabby. It still looks pretty shabby, but compared to now, this is sort of the golden era. And we are hanging out. Your father hasn't passed away yet, I believe, right? And we're just sort of goofing around in the pool, and we see your father come out of the storm, the tornado shelter, with a friend of his. And they sort of shake hands, and he closes it and puts that padlock on it that was always on it. He goes into his room, and I start telling you guys about how I just tried pot for the first time, and I think it gave me a psychic vision. Like, I think I can see the future now, guys. I'm serious. And we are kind of hanging out. People are swimming in the pool, and all of a sudden we hear a loud boom coming from back where the tornado shelter was. And everyone looks and sort of shouts and startles, and kind of like black smoke curls out of the seams of the door, and your father goes running to it and opens it, and black smoke pours out, and kind of
But he like pulls on a gas mask. We don't know where
he's
it
ready.
came from.
Yeah, he's got a gas mask on and like a fire extinguisher, and he's ready to go.
I feel like that knowledge help you.
Great.
Help you. I think that's positive for you.
I'm going to make that positive in the present day, in that, that sort of memory, like, clicks. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, when we were at the pool and there was a big explosion. Who was that guy that your dad was with? It was Mr. Barnes. He owns the liquor store. Jeez, he's still alive?
Mr. Barnes is still alive.
I wonder if he knows anything about this. There's something fishy going on in this town. Haven't you felt your whole life like never trust anyone over 40, That's like, there's something going on with this town, man.
Barry,
These people.
you're over 40.
No, it doesn't count. Anyone over 40 over you,
Oh.
You get it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that makes sense.
If it's thank you. We had a good session last week. It was great. The tarot cards were telling me last week, I flipped the king and the emperor and all these old dudes, and I think our parents and our grandparents were up to some shit in this town, man. Haven't you always felt like everyone's got sort of like a lizard face, basically?
I mean,
Don't you agree?
that's racist, right? Like, is that a term?
No. Like, literally, no.
If you found something, if that map, if there's something there, that's what you're talking about? You want to go check it out?
Yeah. I'm saying, yeah, every person's kind of hiding this, like...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not- right. Oh, that's not like a epithet or anything,
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
It's Barry. Come on.
Yeah. No, I get you. You're talking on another plane.
Man of the people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to flow into the next scene, which is basically we're still sitting around on lawn chairs, fold-out lawn chairs, either drinking like Molson Ice out of like cans, or somehow trying to mix the last of the whiskey bottles that we have, like with
And I'm
some
swatting
Sprite or
the
something
same
like
fly
that.
away from my leg.
Yeah.
It's just starting to smell a
And,
little bit.
and so Barry's like, hey, something's weird. Something's always been weird. What's going on? And I bring up this idea to you, Getty. I'm like, well, I mean, we could go in there. We could try and find what's been hiding all these years. Maybe who knows?
I mean, should we go in without, like, if we know that there's people, like Mr. Barnes was in there, right? Barry?
Yeah.
Should we go talk to him first?
I don't know. If you're talking about not trusting anyone, why would we trust him?
Why would we? Why would I even trust
know.
you guys? Well, I do, but that's the way you have to
Well,
think.
we don't have lizard faces, do we?
No, you're fine.
Maybe we overlay this map with, like, a map of the town or something.
We'll have to get that somehow. But okay, I mean, I can do that. I can get it.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All
right.
I'll
You
get
get
it.
the map. So we should we finish the whiskey or should we? I mean,
Then we'll cut the scene there.
All right.
So does it go well or poorly for me?
I think it'll go well.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. So I break into the Hall of Records basically.
It's like in the bottom of the library.
I
or
break
something,
into
yeah.
the bottom. I basically
Right.
break into the town hall, into the records.
I love the
room.
thought that you wouldn't have had to. That's open to the
Yeah.
public, but you waited
like, wait
until
till
nightfall.
night.
Yeah, of course,
to
exactly,
break-
exactly.
Can't
Break-
trust them.
Exactly. You wait until nightfall. You break into the records room, basically. And so while I'm finding the map, which I am able to do, I'm able to find sort of a map of the entire town, the zoned areas from decades past. So I grabbed the one from 1931, basically. And in that is another file that is very old. As I open it, lists all the names of the Asian families, the Japanese families that lived in Mana, in this town, during that era. And all of the information about how they all moved to the town at the same time, or within about a year of each other. About just a number of different families, probably upwards of 50 families moved from Japan to this town. And all of their sons and daughters went to high school. And so, yeah, it seemed like the town was already collecting information on them at that point. Or these are just some records, anyways. And that's what I find that I bring back to the group.
Like, I still have a bug in my craw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? Barry wouldn't have had that vision if Barnes didn't matter. So while you're breaking into the records hall, like almost cross-cut
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me, like, you pull out in one direction.
There's like a fun, like, I don't know, like Roy Orbison
Yeah.
song, like playing over us, like breaking into separate
So-
places.
and I
or
pay.
whatever.
I drive out in the other direction,
Yeah.
same car, slightly different color.
Right.
You know, like my door has been replaced with your door on the other side, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's like, you know, we've swapped parts over the years, and I'm going off in one direction to the pharmacy. Is it the pharmacist? Right.
It's the liquor store.
Liquor store
Yeah.
to talk to Barnes. So I drive over there, and he's locking up.
Right.
Like the lights, like he's just been pulling the shades in the front.
Freddie, I'm shutting down.
And I've helped finish the whiskey. It was important that we finish that.
It was.
So I kind of like stumble out, and
Oh, you're already
cans fall
3
out
sheets.
of the car, and I'm like, Mr. Barnes, There's how do we put this delicately? How?
What, you want vodka?
No. Were you and my father running a still outside in the back of the hotel?
No. Who? What makes you? Your father's been dead for a long time. No.
And I kind of like stumble, like as I'm
Right.
talking to him, I'm
I
kind of
kinda,
stumbling
like, catch
closer
you.
towards
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, can we go in and sit down?
Yeah. Come on in.
All right, so
You're a good kid.
we're going in to sit down.
Shuts the door, kind of locks
And
it.
I kind of like stumble into a chair that he keeps by the
Right.
counter. And he gets behind the counter and is watching me. Because Barry remembers, and we found this hole, and we found some swords. Mr. Barnes narrows his eyes
Yeah.
and is reaching under the counter.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how's this going to go?
I mean, obviously, it goes very poorly for you.
Yeah.
All right. So Mr. Barnes unsheathes a ceremonial sword from beneath the counter
Cool.
and yells at me in Japanese.
Oh shit.
Oh.
And in this light, I notice like maybe there's some surgical scars there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think drunkenly to myself, what's going on? And kind of get up, and the combination of being drunk and having a broken leg that I didn't really bring my crutches properly for, I fall, and so as he swings to get me, he slices my arm pretty bad,
Yeah.
and that burns.
You're already on crutches.
But his sword sort of
And that burns pretty bad, he said.
and then the sword lodges in the counter after that.
Yeah.
So, and I'm crawling away.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So that's some confusion and pain.
Yeah.
there.
Sure
Yeah.
is.
So, yeah, this is my last scene. So, Barry, you went to the records hall.
I did.
You went over there
To Barnes.
to Barnes. Barry went back into the storm thing, just to kind of look around.
Make sure there wasn't any other liquor.
He
maybe.
promised he wouldn't go any deeper without you guys. And it takes about 5 minutes before he starts to smell the smoke. And he looks behind him, and something precious is on fire. The motel is on fire. This slow-burning trash fire that we've had going in the pool since the beginning has ignited a greasy...
The wind
has
The
whipped
wind's
it up,
kicked up
and it
some
has
sparks.
ignited like an oil stain on the ground from like when we were like doing donuts in the back by the pool, and now the hotel is just engulfed in flames. Right as you guys, it sort of really kicks up right as you two both...
But the real question is, how does this go for your character?
Right.
Does it go positively or negatively for your character?
I think everything goes good for Barry.
No,
Right?
good for everything goes good for Barry.
Yeah. This goes positively for me because just yesterday I had signed on as an official part owner of this motel, and you had signed me on onto the insurance papers as well. And so now that this is burning down, literally the first thing that comes to my mind, the very first thing that comes to my mind is, that's $100,000 right there. The second thing that comes to my mind is, ooh, old Miss Ellerby's in room 7C. I should maybe go check on her.
All right. Okay, this is the final scene of our game, and I am really, really at a loss in some ways. So I'm just going to talk through my process here.
Okay.
Because we have obviously the brothers are driving back to the motor lodge, and they are coming up upon it as it's on fire.
Right.
My car is coming
Your
back.
car is coming back. That's right. We don't know if you actually come back. That's a really good point. You know, I think that we can leave it really, just like you just said, we can sort of leave it open-ended to let the denouement really guide us on what's happening here. So I'm going to set the scene for my character then. Jenny drives back successful from the town hall with ill-gotten gains, and it can't wait to share this new information with you.
Right.
Arriving at the motor lodge, it's obvious that it's on fire. So Jenny, he runs to the tornado shelter for whatever reason. He just it seems like
Safe.
the right place to go. Yeah, it seems safe. Maybe. Yeah, exactly. And he gets there and he finds Barry there as he's sort of about to leave to go find this other tenant. So they run into each other. And
Barry forgets in that moment what he was going to do.
Jenny says, "I have the map. We should go now.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I got nothing else to do.
Do you have the other map?
Yeah, I got it right here.
All right, let's go." And they go into the hole to try and find their way to whatever is hidden below without speaking Japanese, without having any idea of what is down there.
Right.
I grabbed it already, but it's a positive result
Yeah.
for us. So the positive result for us is that we find the secret barracks for this group of Japanese soldiers that had settled here to act as spies and infiltrators ahead of the start of the Second World War. And
Awesome.
that is where our story ends.
Goes to the aftermath.
Goes to the aftermath, where now we all roll.
Right.
Ooh, we're all gonna have real bad times.
Yeah, everyone's
this
got a
time,
pretty
I think.
equal
yeah,
split.
It's gonna be bad news.
Ooh, actually, not so bad for
Oh,
my
you got
guy.
good. All right.
8 black high, it's called, on the table. And so for me, my aftermath is nothing to write home about. Back where you started, maybe sore and broke, just like yesterday and tomorrow. You probably learned something, though, like how to do it right next time. Next time.
So I have a black 1. Horrible. You are probably dead. Other people, probably innocent people, are as well. There is no justice. There is no mercy. Everything is utterly, painfully screwed, and it is all of it, your fault.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm at -2. I got brutal wounds that will never heal, for starters. Stuff sawed off, blown off, or burned off on your way to a grand, ignominious failure. Kiss whatever you care about goodbye. You may die, but you may not.
Amazing.
So I'm on the floor bleeding of the liquor store.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mr. Barnes realized pretty quickly that if I was here, that my twin and Barry the crook are probably back at the hotel and getting into something. Maybe because I mumbled about it. I look up awash in fever, blood loss, and pain as he runs out muttering curses in Japanese.
Cool.
And I fall back to the floor.
Barry, finds this whole thing with you. He's very excited. In that moment, whatever he took about 20 minutes ago really hits him. He's in the deep wave of his high, and he feels like he has found his life's calling here. That something amazing is gonna happen because of this. And he turns to you, and his pupils are dilated, and with the fire, with everything that's going on, one thing you know for sure is, okay, Barry's out of commission. He will no longer be a help to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's good for Barry.
And as we're exploring the barracks for these older, from another time soldiers, we trip a booby trap, and gas starts to fill up in the barracks and in all of the tunnels that have been dug through these halls.
Awesome.
I wake up in the hospital maybe like a month later. My leg feels pretty good. My arm, I can kind of move it.
Yeah.
So that's good. And I'm on some good painkillers.
Barry, going back to that sort of moment, he's, tripping pretty hard, but he's pretty sure that old guy who owns the liquor store just kicked open the door to this room that's filling with gas and is holding like a sword that's like maybe on fire or something, or with ice all over it. And he's like, that's probably pretty bad.
Jenny is running around trying to find a way out. The battle cries that are coming from Mr. Barnes' mouth are incredibly scary. But Jenny's able to find a gas mask very similar to the one he used to see his father wear, or at least saw him that one time wear. And he's able to slip it on as gas is now starting to choke everyone in the room who's not wearing a mask, including Mr. Barnes.
Right.
I'm in the reception room of the hotel, and it's got brand new wood paneling. The fan is like dust free. I've got the same photo up before. It's a little bit singed, but the frame is really nice. I've got all new wooden and burned numbers on all the doors for all the key fobs. The same fly is buzzing around, and I'm just kind of staring out the back window, the screen there, at the depression where all the trees are sunken in and all the ground in the back, out back, is just depressed,
Right.
collapsed in.
Yeah, I'm going to do a positive for Barry with that flashback, or with your flash with your character. Also really, really beautiful in this new room is a really nice photo that we took together from back when we were teenagers, and it says in memoriam.
Indeed. As Jenny and Barry and Mr. Barnes are sort of clashing in the smoke-filled barracks, Jenny trips over another booby trap, which causes the old, decades-old dynamite to start to light. And slowly, but in quick succession thereafter, the tunnels start to implode as their supports are being blown out, and all this wood and dirt is just pouring back into these.
And the
open
gas
spaces.
starts to ignite.
Yeah.
I'm looking back at the depressed earth. This is still in this new room. I sigh and I grab a beer and crack it open, and my range of motion isn't as good as it used to be in my hand. And I finish my beer and throw it to the side.
Barry, in his final moments, as the gas is pouring, he's being sort of swung at with a sword. Dynamite is going off all over him. For the first time in his life, he has a God-honest vision of the future. And it's a vision of sort of a future where this town has been revitalized because of this like crazy story that came out about this motel and about this insane world. In that moment, the very last thought that he has before he's blown to pieces by an unfortunate stick of dynamite is, my God, I am psychic. I wasn't lying. And then he's blown to bits.
Jenny wakes up in a hospital.
Sorry, I like that. Yeah, Jenny.
With third-degree burns over his entire body, except for where a gas mask has melded with his skin and had to be scraped off using metal, like, scrubbers. He is in agony in a hospital for months and months and months. His skin never grows back.
Neither does his 2 legs and 1 arm.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But he doesn't have to look his brother's face in the mirror anymore. And that, at least, is positive for him.
Oh my God.
So with that, our story ends. We'll return again with a new way to spin a tale to dare to entertain. What do you guys think of this fiasco?
I really, really liked this a lot. It went places I wasn't expecting at all from pretty much moment one. I really liked the setting, as I'd mentioned in last week's episode, and this was even crazier than I could have possibly imagined it being, and it seems crazy to begin with.
Yeah, it was. You were right on there, John, when you were talking about how the mundane playsets really offer a chance to really get into some weird territory, and I feel like we did today. At the beginning, I that's why I asked to have it be a Japanese family instead of a Korean family, because I really wanted to tie it back to the war. And I actually, in my original thought, was to tie it to Japanese internment. Actually,
Right.
There was Japanese internment camps in Arkansas, and so we could have gone a number of different ways with it. And I am pleased with the way it sort of turned out. It felt very Coen Brothers. It got weird.
That's
Right.
why to push the weirdness, that's why I did push back on
Yeah,
having it go
I'm
to
glad you did.
1942,
Yeah.
because I got that.
Yeah.
I did want it to be like Well, let's take that one step further,
Yeah.
where the reason why they're interring people is because of this like menace that was like perceived and not real, really.
Yeah.
And so, all right, so let's just assume that for some insane reason, a Midwestern town is the locus for some
It is
like
real,
craziness
right,
that, and they got in there before, and it's been this whole plan and plot. And, they're surgically altering themselves to look like white Midwestern America.
It got weird.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy.
But it was good. No, it was. It worked out well, I think. And this one was really plot heavy. It felt like it got very convoluted in some ways. But
which is kind of good.
it is good because there were a
Right.
lot of threads we never really sort of... There were at least one or two.
There were some that we left kind of open too, which is good.
Right.
And, like how, like we're explaining our thought processes of the conspiracy, but it didn't play out like
Right.
that. It just sort of left good indicators or hints. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Cool. Well, we hope you guys liked it too.
To learn more about the players and the engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. But let's walk through our players. Jocko, how can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jocko Farino, and you can find my writing sort of all over the web.
All right.
You can find me, Ken Breeze, at Burling's Beard on Twitter. That's BERLINGS Beard.
All right. And you can find me at Lord Joho on Twitter. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at Board Ghost World on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have any desires we can fulfill, any games that you'd like us to try again, or any suggestions for games that we are skirting close to in your interests. Leave reviews and comments on iTunes or your favorite preferred listening portal. I want to thank Pat Couples for providing the theme song and the interlude music for our show. You can find more of Pat's stuff on patcouples.tumblr.com and his bands on hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become. So share, review, and pass this ghost story along.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop.